America has spoken. And by their votes, people have said they would rather have somebody who is a misogynist, a convicted felon, a racist in the White House.
This SDA pastor got so emotional after Trump won the US election. Why did he get so emotional in the pulpit? We are going to see that right now. But before we go ahead, I would encourage you to subscribe to this channel if you are new here. Here on this channel, we share and comment on events that are taking place both within and outside of the SDA church. All right, we keep you updated. So please subscribe to this channel and make sure you hit the notification bell so you don't miss any video we publish. Now let's get into the video and listen to what the pastor said just last Sabbath in the pulpit. It is interesting, friends. It is. So let's watch it right now.
The responsibility and the privilege is mine to introduce to you our speaker. He is Pastor Mario Agustav. I've known Pastor Agustav since 1986 when we were students together at the seminary, and he hasn't changed much. No, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm just telling you that he hasn't changed much. Pastor Agustav has served as a pastor for many congregations in Northeastern, including this one. And he has left an indelible imprint on this particular congregation. A lot of you know that. He currently serves as the Adventist Community Services Director of Northeastern Conference. And I think he is one of the best ACS directors across the country, hands down. He is all over the place. Disaster draws him like magnet anywhere it's happening, whether it's hurricanes, tornadoes, flooding, whether it's here in the United States or in the Caribbean or anywhere else in the world. He is an active presence. I, for one, am appreciative of the ministry he provides. He'll tell you more about that ministry when he comes and this evening. Before Pastor Mario comes, we're going to have a song of meditation. But before we have the song of meditation, I want to set it up. I want to use this moment to set up the song of meditation and to set up Pastor Mario. Today, last week's Sabbath, those of you who were here and those of you who tuned in, listened to me present a message entitled, "A Vote is a Terrible Thing to Waste." I am mindful of the fact that while we're here in our Sabbath best and we are worshiping, if you were paying attention, if you cared about what happened this week, many of you are disappointed and shocked and angry and frustrated and hurting. I will admit to you that as your pastor, this is one of those days when I don't think that I am in a good place where I could preach. I'm going to be honest with you. My I have been in an emotional and spiritual funk and depression since Tuesday night. I haven't watched any television. I haven't read anything in the news. Because my heart is sad and broken. I know that there are those of you sitting here, or maybe those of you hearing my voice, who are so super spiritual that you're thinking, as a pastor, I shouldn't think that way, and I shouldn't talk that way. But that's the way it is, and that's the way I am, and I'm being real with you. During the week, there has been all kinds of commentary and statements that was being made. We have a WhatsApp chat among us as pastors of the conference, and there are all kinds of commentary and all kinds of statements and all kinds of interpretation and rationalizations and spiritualizations that people have been are making. But you need to understand, my brothers and sisters, that what happened on Tuesday night has serious implications for those of us who are people of color, and especially those of us who are undocumented immigrants. The brother has told you what he was going to do. And it seems as if it is clear that America has decided that he has a blank check to relate to people of color and immigrants and people he considers less than any way he wants. And nobody is going to stop him. Not the courts. A few weeks ago, the sitting president made an executive order that he was going to provide clemency or amnesty for people who are undocumented, but who are married to citizens of the United States. If you were married to a citizen of the United States, and you've been married for, I think it's at least 10 years, he was going to make it possible for you to stay here without fear or anxiety until your papers are processed. We are not in January yet. And the courts have decided that they are going to roll that back. So it has begun. I have a problem with those of us who, like George Jefferson, has come to this country and somehow you have convinced yourself that you've pulled yourself up by your bootstraps and you are enjoying a piece of the pie and you are showing no concern for your brothers and sisters who are struggling. Make no mistake about it, sooner or later, all of us are going to be impacted. I don't care how educated you are, or how many properties you own, or what jobs you have. You're going to be impacted. The other thing I want to say about this is, This, for me, has served as a wake-up call. Let's not kid ourselves. America has spoken. And by their votes, people have said they would rather have somebody who is a misogynist, a convicted felon, a racist in the White House over someone who would enact policies that would make the lives of most people better. You know, I see online people are talking about, well, you know, she deserved what she got, championing gay rights and abortion. Don't get it twisted, folks. It is not about gay rights and abortion. It's about your freedoms that sooner or later are going to be curtailed by the policies of this administration. Now, I'm not saying this to scare you. And by the way, those of you who are thinking, why is the pastor taking up Pastor Mario's time? Is because Pastor Mario and I have an agreement that I'm going to get what's off my chest before he comes. This has served also as a wake-up call for me personally, and I hope for you also, that we need to get back to understanding what is God really saying. And I'm not talking about us spiritualizing things away. I'm not talking about us rationalizing things away. I'm not talking about you sitting there talking about God puts up kings and takes down kings. God is speaking to this, and one of the things he's telling us is that don't be fooled. This is who America is. That's one. The second thing he's saying to us like he said to the pioneers in 1844 when they suffered the great disappointment, you need to go back to the Word, get back to the Word, and see what this is saying. We've talked about Jesus is coming soon. We talked about all these things that are going to be put in place. You know, I think that the devil has a lot of us as Adventists deceived. We're sitting here, we're looking, you know, when is the Sunday law coming? When is that coming? While in the meantime, he's undermining and taking away freedoms and paving the path. Where all these things will just happen all of a sudden. Who would think in your wildest dreams that you'd ever get to the place in this country where something like this would happen? Don't get it twisted. America has spoken. 8 years ago, it said we didn't want a woman to be president. Somebody who was super qualified. Especially when you compared her qualifications with the person she was running against. 8 years later, they have said, not only don't we not want a president, a woman president, somebody who is super qualified, we also don't want a black woman to be president. And if the choice is between a qualified black woman with policies that would help most people and someone who is a racist and who is a convicted criminal, well, not convicted criminal, he's not, but he's convicted. 34 felony counts. Somebody who stole state secrets. Somebody who fomented an insurrection. If the choice is between her and him, we want him. Give us Barabbas. And so, people of God, please don't get caught up in the trivial and the superficial talking about her policies and her support for abortion rights and gay rights was what did this. That's a cover for what's really happening. And we need to understand that we are living in perilous times. As your pastor, I have a responsibility as to help you navigate these perilous times. And I've got to tell you, it's even hard for me to wrap my mind around this. It's hard. But I still have to provide pastoral responsibility and leadership to you. I know in my head that in the long run, we'll be okay. But I need hope and strength and encouragement to make it through the here and now. And so as I thought about what can I say to the church to help us make it through the here and now, and as I listened to the praise team sang the worship song, I got an idea. I got an inspiration. When times are tough and we don't understand, when we can't see God's face, we must trust His hand. And in those moments, as people of faith, we need to still trust Him when we can't trace Him. So I've asked the praise team to set the atmosphere for Pastor Augustev to come. And for the song of meditation, they're going to lead us in worship again. And we're going to sing with our hearts, even though our head, at least my head, hasn't caught up with my heart yet. I'm going to tell God, we're going to tell God, in these moments, praise is what I do. Even when we don't understand, let's praise Him.
There is some kind of observation that I made about the video that I want to actually share with you. You see, the pastor, I think, the pastor got so emotional in the pulpit that there were certain statements that he made that I think was not okay in the church, like calling Trump racist and others. I don't know, because there are people in the church that belong to the different parties, okay? So as a pastor, if you stand in the pulpit and make such statements, like, you are causing division in the church, because how would the person, that is the member who supports Trump, how would they feel? So I think as a pastor, he shouldn't have made some statements that he actually made in the video that I just showed you, Yeah, that's what I think. Now, the second observation I made about the video was that, the pastor seemed so worried about the policies, immigration policies of Donald Trump. The policy to deport undocumented immigrants. There are so many people that are living in the U.S. right now that are not documented, They do not have the permits, the official permit to live in the U.S. and also to work there. So it was part of Trump's policy to send them all away. And because of this policy, this pastor was was emotional in the pulpit because the policy is not going to favor those who have traveled from their countries to America to find a good living right there. And the last observation that I made about the video is that with what the pastor said in the pulpit, it clearly shows that he is with the Democratic Party. But we are told that we should not let members of the church know our political affiliation, even in the church, especially if we are pastors. You know, if you are a pastor, it is not okay to stand in a pulpit and say statements that will make the congregation know that, hey, this pastor is with this party, or this pastor supports this party. We are not supposed to do that. But looking at the video, watching the video carefully, I realized that the pastor supported Kamala Harris. Like, he supported the Democratic Party, and he wanted people to vote for Kamala Harris because of the policies she is bringing, you know. But friends, as Seventh-day Adventists, you know, we believe that it is God that sets up kings and at the same time removes kings. We understand that everything that happens for a reason, and I firmly believe that God was behind the US elections. You know, God has put Trump there so that some kind of prophecies would be fulfilled. So I think we should not be carried away by these things. We should not be carried away because Trump won or because Kamala won. No, we should give thanks to God for everything that happens, and we should continue in our faith. All right, so friends, I want to pause here and invite your comments. What do you think about what the pastor said in the pulpit? All right, so friends, this is all that I had to share with you today. Thanks for watching. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. See you next time. God bless.